Good morning, good week. We're starting with the daf of today, 1:15. Actually, we are ahead, right? We're learning
one ahead.
One ahead.
Be good. When we get to Tisha B'av, then we'll go be with everybody.
One. So we are starting from the Mishnah. We completed the chapter. Completed chapter 14. We're starting chapter 15.
16.
Starting chapter 16, and this chapter is called Kol Kisvei, all the writings. So this chapter is dealing with a fire that started, God forbid, started on Shabbos. There's a fire on Shabbos. When are you allowed to save things from the fire?
Right.
And to where? And what are you allowed to do to stop the fire from spreading?
Yeah.
And also we're going to speak about the law of a Gentile and minor that comes to put out the fire. If you're allowed to let them put out the fire. And if you're allowed to benefit from melacha that the goy did on Shabbos. So kol kisva kodesh. If you have in a room Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim, you have Torah, you have in a room, and now there's a fire. Kol kisva kodesh matzil noisam pnad leiko. We wanted to run into the fire, take them out. Obviously on Shabbos. Ben shekorim b'hem, whether you're reading in it, or if you're not even reading in them. Although you need to do a geniza, to put them away, right?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to just leave books in the street if you don't need them anymore. So why didn't they read all these books, then Vim, Ksuvim, all this? He says because those who came on Shabbos to hear the speech, the rabbi's speech, usually he taught them halachas.
Yeah.
Taught them halachas so they can
right.
So they know what to do. So it's better for them, people that are out there. For them, it's much of a greater need to learn halacha than to learn to read Navi right now, because they need to know what to do.
And here it says, in order to maximize attendance, the rabbis prohibited the reading of Kesubim on Shabbos, since people might become engrossed in them and fail to attend a lecture.
Right, but the laws of the halachas were much more practical to them, right?
Right. They just want to make sure they had a crowd too.
Itmar, so the Gemara says Itmar, it says Ksuvim, Ksuvim Targum. What happened if the Navi, let's say, was translated to English? Are you allowed to save it also? Or B'chol Lashon, not just Aramaic, any other language. Ravuna Omar Ein Matzil Nosem Pnei Adleika. Rav Chizda Omar Matzil Nosem Adleika. Ravuna says you saving them due to the fire, and comes Rav Chizda says you're not. Alibo. So no, Ravuna says you're not saving them. Ein matzil noisam. Rav Chizda said you are saving them. Aliba demande Omar nitnu likris boin. According to the one who says that you're allowed to read, you're allowed to learn you're allowed to be to learn them, because you're allowed to write it in any language. The chulam liplig the matzil. Everyone agrees that matzilin, whether it's Rav Huna and Rav Chizda, they're not arguing that you're saving holy writings, right?
Yeah.
Kisva kodesh means holy writings, right? B'chol loshin, in any language that they are written. Keep ligis. So where is the machlekes between Rav Huna and Rav Chizda? Aliba de'omar lo yitnu likros bain. According to the opinion that holds that you should not read Kisva Kodesh that are written in any language. Rav Huna Omar Ein Matzilin. So Rav Huna said you shouldn't save them, and Rav Chizda said you should. Because you can't read We can read them anyway, according to that opinion. Rav Chisda Matzilin. Rav Chisda said you should save them. Why? Mishum Bizyan Kisra HaKodesh, because it's degrading. It's desecrating Kisra HaKodesh, the holy writings. The Gemara now challenges Rav Huna. Nan kol Kisra HaKodesh Matzil Noisem Pnad Leko. It says kol. Mishnah says clearly kol Kisra. All the writings, all the holy writings should be taken out, should be saved from the fire. Ben Shekob, whether you read them or you don't read them. Even if they're written in any language. My love. Shekorin boy. What does it mean? Korin boy. Shekorin boy. It's Nevi'im. That you read the prophets, the book of the prophets. V'shein korin boy. Which one are the one that you're not read? That you're not read? That you're not reading? Ksuvim. Even though they're written in any language, the loy nitnu likos boem. According to this opinion, there is a novelty that we save this ktuvim. V'ktani matzilin. It says clearly that we save them, we take them out.
But it's part of the Haftorah. You read the Haftorah in Shabbos.
Yeah, but what is ksuvim? Ksuvim is you don't read the Haftorah in English.
No.
Ksuvim means they are translated.
Ah, okay, like art scroll.
Yeah. Usyuvta de Rav Huna. So the simple question of Rav Huna says you're not saving it if it's written in other languages. Rav Chisda said you are saving it, but the issue is the Mishnah says clearly that you should save it. Kol Kisra HaKodesh. All the holy writings should be saved. If there's a fire on Shabbos, you run in, you take it out, or you put out the fire. If you can't take it out without putting out the fire, you put out the fire. Amar Rav Huna says, "V'tisburo Eima Seifa Te'unin Geniza." Look at the end of the Mishnah. The latter part of the Mishnah says Te'unin Geniza. It's something that needs to be buried,
Right.
be put away. Yeah, Sheamus. Hashta Atzulim Atzlina. Geniza Mebai. If you saved it, why do you need to do Geniza? Where is the Geniza coming from? Geniza means to put it away. I mean, you buried it respectfully.
Like when they did when the Nazis, they put them away and then they dug them up.
Right.
That was not. They weren't putting away to be finished with them.
Yeah. The Gemara says, "Ela Rav Huna metoretz l'tamer." Rav Huna explains it according to his shita, according to his opinion. Rav Chisda metoretz l'tamer. Rav Chisda answers it according to his reasoning. Rav Huna metoretz l'tamer. Rav Huna would explain it this way: Ben shekorim b'ay neviim, ben shein korim ksuvim, ben shein korim b'ay ksuvim. What are we dealing with? That they're written in Loshen HaKodesh, in Hebrew. Aval b'chol Loshen, but if they're written in any language, ein matzilim, we don't save them. Even though we do not save them on Shabbos, but they need to be, if you put them away, if you don't need them anymore, they're destroyed, you need to do Geniza. So something that is written in English or any other language, Kisva Kodesh, you need to do Geniza. You need to put it away. Rav Chisda would explain according to his explanation. Ben shekorim b'neviim, whether the Nevi, it's something that we read, which is the prophets, like you said, the Haftarah, ben shekorim b'hem ksuvim, or something that is translated. Although they are translated to any language, and Nami Matzilin, we should also save them. So what's the chiddush? That's something that need geniza. Achikoma umekek shaloen tunin geniza. Even if the book is rotting, maybe starts to be wormy, tunin geniza needs to be buried. Meisi ve'uksuvim targum, something that was translated v'chol loshein matzil noisim pnad leku. The Gemara challenged Rav Huna. Rav Huna said we don't save them if they're written in English or other languages. We don't put out the fire to save these books. But according to Rav Chisda, we do. So the Gemara challenges Rav Huna. Aitana sovar nitnu likus boin. Nitnu likus boin. Why is it there? Because it's something that you should be reading. So why does it say in Matzilim? Why Rav Huna says that you shouldn't be saving them? Tashma yuksuvim gifti toimodis or ivris, different types of languages, or Ilomis, Yavonis, Greek, that language. Though they were not there for you to read them, like we said before, maybe they didn't want the commoners to read it, so they can focus on the speech of Shabbos. They need to be saved from the fire. This is obviously a challenge to Rav Huna, who said that you don't save them. So how would Rav Huna answer this? Rav Huna would say that actually not everyone agreed to this, that they need to be saved. Rav Huna would tell you, Tanoi. Machlekes Tanoi. Etanya Uksum Targum Uchol Loshen written Targum, or in any language. We save them from the fire. Rabbi Yosef said you do not save them from the fire. So he says, okay, well, what do you want from this? Machlekes Tanoi, the sages already debated it, so I took one side. It took the side of Rabbi Yosef, who said that we don't save them. There was once an incident with Abu Chalafta, Shaisel Rabban Gamliel, that was spent some time with Rabban Gamliel, Berivi, Litveria, in Tiberias. Berivi says he was a great man. Rabban Gamliel Berivi.
Right.
I guess it was Rabban Gamliel, the small one, and the big one. He found them. He found Rabban Gamliel Berivi that was sitting by the table of Yochanan the Nozuf. Now, Nozuf means someone that was almost like excommunicated, someone that was admonished, rebuked. Uviyod Sefer Eov, and is holding the book of Eov. Targum, that was translated. So Omar Lei Abba Chalafta says to Rabban Gamliel, seeing him reading the translation of Eov, the book of Job. Omar Lei, he said to him, Zochu ani Rabban Gamliel avi avicha. I remember your grandfather, which also called Rabban Gamliel the elder, Shomed al Gabi Mailo be'Arabais, was standing on a platform in Arabais. In Temple Mount, he was standing there. They brought to him translation of Eov. He told them to put it in Gniza, to put it away.
Under a
brick.
Bricks, right?
Yeah. Avhu tziva olav gnoze. So, hearing this, Rabban Gamliel did the same thing. Rabban Gamliel Beribi, his grandson of Rabban Gamliel, did the same thing. He put it in Gniza. Put it away. So what does it show? That Kisva HaKodesh, Novi, and that are translated, you need to put them away. You're not supposed to read it. So Rabbi Yehuda that the elder Rabban Gamliel did not put the book away. They actually took a bowl made up of clay, and they put it on top of it and covered it with it. There are actually two answers to reject the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Chada bechitit be'arabait menayin. Where is the clay in Arabais? Where would you find clay in Arabais in Temple Mount?
I don't know. 25. Clay is a mixture of earth and water.
They never built Arabais. They never built the Temple Mount with clay.
It is. They're unlikely that a worker would have had clay handy to pour it onto the scroll. Okay.
So it's unlikely that it's going to be there.
Right.
And you're allowed to destroy it. Rather, you leave it in a place that is ownerless. You leave it out there and let it rot by itself.
Right.
So Mantanoi, so who is the Tanoim that Ravuna says that they argued whether we save Kisra HaKodesh, we save the holy writings, or we don't save? Where is this machlokes? Ilema Tanakama. If you say it's Tanakama de Rabbi Yossi, the Tanakama says that you should save them. And Rav Chisda and Rabbi Yossi would say that you don't save them. Maybe Tanakama and Rabbi Yossi actually debated a different type of machlokes, had a different dispute. Mar Sovar, when it comes to the holy writings that are translated to other languages, you're allowed to read them. And that's why you should save them. Umar Sovar, Rabbi Yossi holds, lo nitnu likus b'hem. They were not given, they should not be read, and therefore you shouldn't save them. So therefore the Tanakama that says that the holy writings that are written in any language are being saved, needs to be saved, because he thinks that you should read them. And if you should read them, then therefore you should save them. But Rav Chisda said that you save them even though you don't read them. You shouldn't read them, but you should save them. So if so, there is no Tana that holds like Rav Chisda, that even though you should not read them, but nevertheless you should save them. So who is the Tanoim that actually had the same machlokes of Rav Huna and Rav Chisda? Ella, the Tanoim that argued in the same way of Rav Huna and Rav Chisda, Rabbi Yossi. It's Rabbi Yossi. What does Rabbi Yossi says? That if the holy writings are written in any language, you shouldn't save them, just like Rav Huna. V'tono de giftis. And the Tana of the Baita that we just learned, if it's written in this language, giftis, I don't know what type of language
Coptic.
is it. Over here it says giftis.
Yeah, it's this three. Let me see. If they were written in Coptic.
Coptic. No.
Yeah, it's like an Egyptian
language.
So
No. Although they were not made to be read. I don't know why they were made. They were not supposed to be read.
I think that certain languages are usher. I don't know.
So,
from this.
so we should still save them from the fire. That's the opinion of Rav Chisda. That's similar to Rav Chisda. So the Gemara brings a Baita that says that there are certain things that you should save from the fire and certain things you shouldn't. Tanu Rabbanon HaBrochos. For example, the Siddur. You have Shemini Esrei and other brachos, Zakmin. You have amulets, right?
Yeah.
You write for medical purposes. Although there is letters of shame, meaning the name of God.
Right.
And portions in the Torah, they're written, paragraphs from the Torah are written there. Psukim are written there. Verses, you should not save them from the fire. You should not save them from the dlek or from the fire. Ela, whether you let it burn. That's what they said. If you're writing the brachos, it's like burning the Torah, because it's something that cannot be taken out of the fire. Halachically. He wrote brachos betzidon. So they told Rabbi Shmuel about this guy that he writes the brachos down. Rabbi Shmuel went to check if he really does it. When Rabbi Shmuel climbing the ladder, I guess to get to this guy wherever he was, maybe he was sitting in the attic, and he irgish boy. So this guy noticed that Rabbi Shmuel is coming. Not al tumus. He took a bunch of his writings. So he dipped them in the water in order for it to be erased. And Rabbi Shmuel would not see that he wrote brachos. Rabbi Shmuel told him in this expression, this language, this lashon, kol goydel ha'inish ha'achron min harishen. The punishment that you deserve for erasing it is worse than the punishment of writing it to begin with. Because what was the issue that shouldn't write it? Because it might be burned and then you can't save it. But it only might happen. You physically destroyed it. Took the names of God that are written and you erased it.
Right.
What happened if it's not written with ink? Are you allowed to still save it? Holy scriptures that are not written with ink, ksuvim besam, written with a special color, yellowish color, sikra is a red color, bekumus is a type of a bark of a tree, vekankante, it's a special material that was used for black shoes. If it's written Beloshon HaKodesh, do we save it or we shouldn't save it? It's not in ink, but other ingredients. So Reish Galusa explains the doubt. What's the dilemma over here? Tiboi Lemanda Omar, according to Rav Chisda, that says that holy writings are written in any language. Matzilin, yeah, we should save it. Tiboi Lemanda Omar Ein Matzil. So where is the doubt? The doubt is only to Rav Huna. The Rav Huna is the one that says that if it's written in other language, you shouldn't save it. Tibol Lemanda Omar Ein Matzilin. Challenges to Rav Huna. He said you shouldn't be saving it. Hanemilei Eichad Eksiv Targum V'Choloshin. It's where it's written, where it's translated in other language. But here it's written in Loshen HaKodesh. It's written in the holy tongue. Matzilin, you should save it, even though it's not written with an ink. That's one way of looking at it. Or Dilma Firu Mandoma. Or even according to the one who said that the holy writings in every language, like Rav Chisda, you should save them. Matzilin. He said it when it's written with an ink. Demikayim, something that lasts for a long time. Therefore, you should save it. But here, with all the other ingredients, not something that's going to last for a long time, loy, you should not save it. So there's two ways of thinking of whether I should answer, two ways of answering this question, whether I should save it or not. On one hand, I can say, according to Rav Huna, he said something is written in other languages, you don't save it, but here it's written in Hebrew, in Lashon HaKodesh, therefore you should save it, even though it's not written with an ink. Or you can say that Rav Chisda said you should save it, even if it's written in other languages, you should save it, but that's only when it's written with an ink. When it's not written with an ink, maybe you shouldn't save it. So that's a dilemma. Rav Amnuna Tana, Matzilin. Rav Huna said that even if it's not written with an ink, you should save it. Amar le Tanya. If it says specifically, explicitly in the Braita, Tanya, let's follow this Braita. My Tanya. Where is the Braita that says that we should save it? The Gemara says, Amar Rashi, Tanya ein ben Sforim Megillah. There's no difference between books and Megillah Esther. What's the difference between the two? Sforim can be written in any language. The books can be written in any language. You with me?
Yeah.
But Megillah can be. It has to be written ashurus, meaning Lashon HaKodesh. Ala sefer, and it has to be written on cloth, on parchment, uvidyoy, with an ink. So what do we learn from it? That other books can be written with other languages, and therefore they should be saved. Because if you're allowed to write them that way, that means that this is the proper way they're written, and therefore they should be saved. So now the Gemara wants to find out if you're allowed to save a Sefer Torah that was erased. Bo minei Ravuna bar Chilu Rav Nachman Sefer Torah shen bo lelakit. 85 years. Going Parsha Vayibin Saorin. The Parsha of Vayibin Saorin, which is in the book of Bamidbar, book of Numbers, it has 85 letters. So this is the shiur, this is the measurement for a Sefer Torah that was erased or became deteriorated. If it has Vayibin Sarah, the Parsha of Vayibin Sarah, because this is like a Torah for itself. So if it doesn't have 85 letters of Vayibin Sarah, do we save it? Do we rescue it from the fire, or we don't rescue it? Obviously, the rescuing is on Chilul Shabbos. It's going to be a desecrating of Shabbos. Amar le Rav Nachman said Tiboloch. Parsha Vayibin Sarah in Gufa. The Parsha Vayibin Sarah, the book of Bamidbar, chapter 10, verse 38 and 36. If Parsha Vayibin Sarah is missing something, and I have no doubt that you are allowed to rescue it. The Chevan de Izbeaz Koris, since it has mentioning of this Parsha, although there's the 85 letters are not completely there, Matzilin, we should save this. When do I have a doubt? It doesn't even have 85 letters, and it doesn't have any mentions. Am allowed to save it or not? Amar le Rav Nachman says, and Matzilin. Rav Nachman says we do not save it. Ravuna challenges Rav Nachman. Eisivei Targum Shekosu Mikra. Letters that are written in the Torah and in the Novi in Aramaic, and he translated them to Ashurus, to the Holy Tongue. So it was written in Aramaic, and he translated it to Lashon HaKodesh. If it's written in Ashurus in Lashon HaKodesh, and he changed it to Aramaic. Uchsav Ivris. Ivris is not Hebrew, it's Evera, no, it's letters, it's not similar to Ashurus, Lashon HaKodesh. It's not similar to Lashon HaKodesh. Matzilin mipnei adleika, we should save them from the fire. When tzirich leimar, and it's needless to say, Targum shebe'ezra, shebanil shebatero, Targums are written in the book of Ezra, in Daniel. Targum shebatero ma'ini, what is Targum shebatero, what does it mean? Yegar Sadusa, for example, Yegar Sadusa is not Hebrew. It's not Lashon HaKodesh. It's translated. Right, the Lovan called the monument that he made, Yaakov called it Galeid, and Lovan called it Yegar Sadusa. It's written in the Torah, these words. Although there's no 85 letters, it needs to be saved. So this is a challenge to Rav Nachman that said that we don't save a Sefer Torah. We don't rescue a Sefer Torah that does not have 85 letters. Or at least Parshas Vayibin Sarah. Ki Tanya, so the Gemara answers, Lashlim. So why? Because it could be combining together. It makes it 85 letters. The Targum can be combined together with the 85 letters of Vayibin Sarah. So if there's missing letters, so you take from there, so to speak, you take from there, it makes it 85. So the Gemara has a doubt. Do we rescue it from the fire only when the 85 letters are written together or are scattered? They're all together, or they are scattered. Rav Chisda is always more careful with the holy writings, the Sefer Torahs. He says even if they're scattered, you should save them. The Gemara challenges of Parshas Vayibin Saorin. For example, if Parshas Vayibin Saorin that we said that it has 85 letters. Matzilim, we should save it. Veiv lav ein matzilim. If it doesn't have it, you shouldn't save it. Due to the Ravuna, so you challenge to Ravuna. Ravuna says we only save it if they are coming together. Tirgema Chisda Ali with Ravuna. Chisda explained the Brisa according to Ravuna. Besevois, he said besevois, meaning if letters that are scattered, one word here, one word there, or one letter here, one letter there, but I guess the word is complete, they can be combined to the 85. Tanu Rabbanon, regarding the Parsha of Ibn Sa'ad, we said you have 85 letters. Ibn Sa'ad, it says this Parsha, Hashem made simonios. What is simonios? He made some kind of markings, signs, from above and below. Yeah, from on top of the bottom. Why? To separate it from the adjacent letters. Loimar comes to teach that it's not its place, rather it's in a different place. Rabbi Menashe, this is not the reason of the markings. To show you that it's a distinguished book for itself. It's a distinguished book for itself. We'll stop right here. Continue, God willing, tomorrow.